Hello, welcome to Mornings with Mrs. Freeze. It's Friday morning, kind of a rainy day out. That's okay. Let's see, at the Freeze household. Okay, so I think today we are going to make a cooking show, so that will be fun. One thing that we like to do in the Freeze family is imitate cooking shows, like Chopped. So, like, you get a secret ingredient, and then, like, everybody makes up a dish with that ingredient, and then somebody's the judge, and we have a special um, pot like lid that we like reveal it with, and so the secret ingredient is going to be oranges is the secret ingredient. So if you're bored today, that could give you something to do. And I think we're even gonna like record it and like video edit and make it like good. So that's one thing. Another thing I'm going to do here in a little bit is this is going to become my 50th mask. Woohoo! So I'll make a few more of those. So I try to make a few about every day. Yesterday I didn't because e-learning was very busy. So good job on that. I saw lots of productivity happening. So that makes me very happy. Let's see, our Mrs. Freeze story of the day. Oh yes, so today is hockey day. So it's rather ironic that I am married to somebody who likes sports as much as I do because like I'm not like a sporty person like at all. In high school, we had a volleyball team with our church, and we did not win a single game for 3 years. We were perfectly defeated. But we were really good sports and it was a lot of fun. But anyway, that's not what I was going to tell you about today. So when I first met Jason, here I have a picture, a throwback picture. So look at how cute he is. Oh my goodness. So he came back to college after a semester off. So he was new in the spring semester and he was friends with a mutual friend of ours. And so we played street hockey sometimes at this little parking lot by an elementary by my dorm. And my roommate and I both thought that this boy was like really cute because he is, and he's like a really great guy. And so when we were playing street hockey, like we both wanted to guard him because but she ended up marrying the other boy that we were playing with, so it all worked out. But I think I won. So anyway, that's one of the activities Jason and I did when we were first dating. Well, we weren't even dating yet then. We were just like talking, I guess. I don't know. So, and with that, so we were talking about hockey one time, and him and Curtis convinced me that actual hockey, like the IHL, like not the NHL, but the IHL, instead of playing on ice, they actually played on frozen gelatin. Yes, it was like Jello basically, but they froze it. And the reason for this was that it like adhered back together better after the skates went across it, and so that way they didn't have to run the Zamboni as often. Which Zamboni was one of my career goals when I was in high school. I was going to be a Zamboni driver if other things didn't work out. Yeah, so I thought this was a very fun sports fact, little known fact. So I emailed my youth pastor and I was like, well, here's something I bet you didn't know. And told him, and he was like, Michelle, I think they might be pulling your leg a little bit. So they actually just play on ice. So anyway. Okay, so for our math devotional today, in our Ephesians passage that we've been looking at, Ephesians 3, it talks about infinity a couple of times. So we're going to get kind of deep today mathematically because we're going to talk about levels of infinity. So in math, we talk about real numbers a lot, and there are rational numbers and there are irrational numbers that make up the real. Real numbers are numbers that you can find on the number line. And so rational, if you need a refresher, is things that you can write like a ratio. See that root word there? Like whole numbers fall in this category. So do fractions. So do decimals that either repeat or terminate. So those are all rational numbers. Irrationals are things that go on and on forever and they never repeat or terminate. So the two most famous ones are pi and E, pi is my first favorite number, E is my second favorite number. But then there's a whole lot of other ones that don't have special names. I just wrote this decimal down here at the bottom. And it goes on and on, doesn't have a like set repeat, and it doesn't terminate, doesn't end. So those are irrationals as well. So here's where it gets a little bit deep. If you try to count all the rational numbers, like there's a lot of them, right? Like if you try to name all the fractions, like there's like a lot. But you can make a system for naming them. So we call that countably infinite. So yeah, you'd have to count forever, but at least you can like go about the task. There's a way, a system you can develop to count them. However, the irrational numbers, you can't do that. They're incountably infinite. So if you try to, as soon as you say the first one, you missed a whole bunch. So like, if you look at how many rational numbers there are and how many irrational numbers there are, there's like way more of these. Like, in fact, if you look at how many irrationals there are between 0 and 1, for example, on the number line, that's incountably infinite. So, like, the mind-blowing part is, so you're telling me there's like more numbers between 0 and 1 than there are whole numbers? Like, whoa. So anyway, now how does that relate to God? So God is real. And there are parts of him that are rational and make sense to our minds, like they make sense and we can go, okay, yeah, I get that, that's logical to me. And then there are whole lots of parts of him that are irrational and we cannot fully grasp. That doesn't mean we can't learn more about them. The cool thing is you can study God forever and keep learning more and more stuff. It's not like we can't learn anything about these. There's a lot of kids that know a whole lot more digits of pi than I do. But we can keep learning more and more things. So you can never finish learning about God, and that's kind of cool. Now, there are some things there that we're not going to fully grasp. And that's okay with me because it's okay that God is bigger than my mind because he made my mind, so it makes sense that he is bigger than that. But he did give me a mind to think, so he wants us to figure things out about him. He put clues about him all over the world, and he wants us to learn more and more about him, and I think that's pretty cool. But we're not going to finish. So if you only focus on the things of God that are logical and make sense, you're missing a whole lot about him that is true and real. And yeah, he is both of those things. So anyway, if you're bored today, you can start learning more about God because that will never be a task that runs out. So, okay, well, that's all I have. So remember that Jesus loves you, and so do I. So do your math.